Welcome to episode 98 of the Guardian 1 podcast. We record live Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian 1 Network. My name is Remy, and tonight I'm joined by Jez.
Good morning.
Agrios.
Greetings, Guardians.
Sharks.
$500,000.
And Gray.
I can't believe what I'm seeing.
We're going to be talking about all things Destiny, but first, housekeeping.
Hello, Guardians. Thank you for listening in on the podcast, however it is that you are choosing to listen. Be sure to follow Guardian 1 on Twitter, at G1Net. That's G, the number 1, N-E-T. In addition, be sure to check out the Guardian 1 website at guardian1.net. If you want to send us an email, you can send it to feedback@guardian1.net. If you do a search on budget.net for Guardian 1, you'll find our forums group, which we also use for both comments and feedback. Big thank you to all those currently in the Twitch chat. As Remy said at the top of the podcast, you can watch the show live at twitch.tv/Guardian1Network. We broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. If you can't catch the show live, you can always search for the Guardian 1 podcast on iTunes, as well as the Guardian 1 YouTube channel at youtube.com/Guardian1Network. Guardian 1 is a proud member of the Guardian Radio Network, so be sure to check out the Guardian Radio Network website at theguardiansofdestiny.com. There you'll find all the different podcasts as part of the network, including the flagship podcast, Guardian Radio. They broadcast every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. You can also follow their Twitter account at GuardiansofD and their YouTube channel, youtube.com/GuardiansofD. Other podcasts that are part of the Guardian Radio Network include previous episodes of TTL Party Chat and Robust Radio. There's also a podcast called Ghost and Echoes, which contains a bit of fan fiction and audio versions of the Grimoire cards found within Destiny. That's it for housekeeping. I'll see you again soon.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Hollow River. And for the record, I will never, ever, ever get tired of these dance moves. And, you know, I said this when we first aired this, that sometimes I watch it and it just makes me happy, and I'm not joking at all. Sometimes I throw it on, and I'm just so happy. Like, I watched the whole thing, but the dancing it's just amazing. Like I've seen it a bunch of times, and you'd think that I would kind of like know what was coming up next, but I'm always surprised every single time that river dance comes on. I'm always surprised. It's always so fresh. His dance moves are so fresh, and I don't know. Hopefully, one of these times we'll get him out to one of these Destiny cons that are going on, Destiny meetups, and maybe we'll see some live moves. That would be really great. Okay, so. Very quickly, some sad news. Crimson Warlock will no longer be joining us. He's moved on to another stage in his life, and he will no longer be part of the podcast. He did want to share this parting message with the other people on the panel and to all of the viewers. I read and I quote, "Hey, screw you guys. I'm going home." I'm just joking. He didn't say that at all. He really enjoyed being part of the podcast, and and I really appreciated all of his input. You know, he always had a very unique way of just his input was really great. It was always different than what everybody else's was, and I never saw it coming. On top of that, he enjoyed being part of the podcast, and he enjoyed the notoriety that comes along with being part of this podcast. Fun fact, and you guys can check this out. We are the #1 Destiny podcast in the world, named Guardian 1 podcast. You can look it up. If you look it up right now, we are the #1 podcast in the whole world, named Guardian 1 podcast. It's verifiable. Fact check me if you want to. But seriously, he will be missed here at Guardian 1, and we wish him all the best. Have a good one, Crimson. A bit of good news. Shout out to our newest member of Guardian 1, R Velvet J. Welcome to the group. Cheers. Okay, moving on. So I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking, like, racking my brain, like we talked last week about what could possibly make me happy to not have vault space on day one. And I racked my brain, and the only thing that I could come up with was if they gave us an apartment in the tower, preferably behind those round doors, because I really want to know what's back there, and with a section, like, I don't know, indoors or outdoors, I don't even really care. But if you go over to the gunsmith, he's got these vertical bars that go straight up and down, and he's just got, like racks of weapons, and that is the only thing that I could think of that would make me happy that there was no new vault space, because at that point I could take out some of the gear that I'm just not going to use. There's certain pieces that I just will never throw away that I want to keep, and it would be really cool. Like, I'd really like to put my year one shadow price. I'd love to put that up on the wall. I think it would be great to just have it there, just let it sit there. So if they gave us an apartment in Rise of Iron, which I just can't even imagine that they would. Can't even imagine. Like, this is I believe this to be Destiny 2 wishful thinking at best. But that's the only thing I could think of, is if they gave us a place where we could take gear out of our vault and put it up somewhere that wasn't, I don't need to pull weapons I'm not going to use from the vault. So that would clear up vault space, and on day one, that would make me happy about not having vault space. But short of that, I just can't even think of anything else. Did anyone here have something that they thought, like, did something come to you while you were playing during this week? Why don't we start with you, Gray? Have you come up with anything that you think would be acceptable day one? No additional vault space?
No, but this was a lower priority for me because the vault space issue. I'm not attached to my gear in the same way that you are, Remy, and I'm more excited to play with new gear than I am the memories that I hold with my old gear.
You know what? That is like the only thing that's awesome about being a year 2 player. Let me tell you what. Like, if I didn't have the gear from year 1 to hold on to, I'd have plenty of vault space too, and especially because legendary engrams came a lot faster outside of year 2. Like, there's this. What's that?
I mean, I didn't play with the vanilla Destiny and its limitations. That was kind of nice to get it all in year 2. I got a year of my life that you didn't have. Because you were playing Destiny.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was making friendships. I was out there, the true vanguard. You know what? There's a cartoon that shows like Diablo 3, and this person's like rolling around in loot, and it shows like Borderlands, and this person's rolling around in loot, and then it shows Destiny, and it shows like the grimmest warlock just holding one legendary engram. And that's it. That's where this comes from for me is, like, I ground all week for this one legendary, and I got it, and it's amazing, and I'm never going to get rid of it. I have to hold on to these things like I'm never going to get another one again, because I'm never going to get another one again. And I still just haven't shaken that feeling, even though I tell you what, I get so many legendaries that I'm not interested in out of blue engrams. Like I just want to turn in the blue engram and then delete the blue gear. And instead I keep getting these purple engrams. I keep getting weapons and I keep getting gear that I'm just not interested in. And I don't have room for it. That's why I'm not interested in it. If I had more room, that cleric dragon that I just got, I'll check it out at some point. But right now, every time I get a legendary out of a blue engram, I think, what am I going to do with this? So congratulations to you. I shouldn't have asked you. Sharks, have you come up with anything in the week since we discussed this? Anything come to you since then?
No, I don't know. No, nothing's come to me. Nothing's going to help the situation at this point. So I'm not going to be happy. What's that?
What about what I said? Like, what if they gave you an apartment and you could put stuff up on the wall? Is that not good enough for you?
No, because then it's just aesthetic and you can never wear it. So
take it back down.
Well, you can take it back down, but that's like an extra vault, and I don't know. I don't see him doing that. I mean, if it was actually like, because that's if it was a vault, that's a vault. Then they already said they're not doing that. So
see, that's the thing. I think like what Remy's idea is accurate. What it is it's another vault. It's a different form of vault, right. And it's in a different location than a tower, thus opening up those memory issues. So whether it's an apartment you can put it on a wall or just a vault in a different location other than the tower, I see that as an option. I just don't think it's something they're going to implement.
No memory issues. There is no memory issues. We got rid of last gen. There's no memory issues. That's not the reason they haven't done it.
Well. Let's see. Jez, has anything come to you in the time since we talked?
Which would be a lot longer than Agrios?
That's true. Well, I think we talked about this last week. But did we talk about it with you?
Every
episode?
Has there
been a podcast we didn't talk about Vault Space?
See,
I wasn't here last week.
Yeah, I wasn't here last week.
Specifically, the denial of new vault space coming day one in Rise of Iron.
I was going to take the time that Agros would have, and I was going to rewrite this, but instead, take a look in your imagination right now. I want you to picture this empty wall with silhouettes of guns, and now every time you pick up a gun and you sacrifice it to this wall, that gun shows up on there. So basically, a viewable vault that you can look upon all of your spoils.
Right now, is this something that you could pull them back down if you wanted to, or you said sacrifice to this wall?
Sacrifice. It's gone. It's on the wall. That's what I want.
I don't know. That seems crazy. I don't think you're going to get many people wanting to sacrifice their goods. Like this Proxima Centauri 2 that I have. I can't imagine that I'm ever going to use it again. But it was a fun gun to have, and I might want to use it. Year 7, I might want to check that thing out again.
See, I think what Jez is saying is that there's a certain number of things that we're keeping for useless reasons, for nostalgia's sake. And if there was a wall somewhere where your fire team could load in with you, and that you could put that gun on that wall so you could see it and be like, yeah, I remember that gun, that was my... Or not only that, but like the visual aesthetics of guns change with every update. Like if you have a year 1 Vanilla Destiny Vanquisher, it doesn't even look exactly like the Vanquishers that came after that when there was a Vanquisher model. So that model gun you put on the wall is sort of a unique trophy that you can be like, look upon this gun that no one else, can get anymore, and it was my faithful companion type thing. So you do have that aspect. But that doesn't work for me for armor, because part of why I'm saving the armor is because I want to put it on for cosmetic reasons eventually one day, like my year 1 Iron Banner stuff and things like that.
I want to really draw in Remy, so I'm going to go a step further. A clan wall, where each clan member can put their guns on it. And eventually you just look on this mosaic of your clan's guns.
I really like that. I like that a lot. And you know what? Thinking about that round door in the tower, that would be a really cool place to have like a clan like you open this up and you go in, and then maybe there's even multiple doors back there, and each of you could go into your own room, and then back there somewhere would be this wall that you talk about. You know what? It's all fun and games until I get my feelings hurt. Bungie, my feelings are hurt. I just love my stuff. I just love my stuff, and I don't want to get rid of it. And I want more vault space. And I've been deleting stuff. I'm torn. Okay, so there's guns. Like, I have a really great roll on, I think it's the Vanity, the Future War Colt hand cannon. I have a really great roll on it, but I hate the way it looks, I hate the way it sounds, and I hate the way it feels. But I don't want to get rid of it because it's a really great roll. It's a fantastic roll. I'm not interested in using it, but I don't want to get rid of it because what a great roll. I mean, what do I do? Do I just delete it? Do I just say, screw this?
Do you use that gun?
I used it yesterday, and I did not like it. It was like, pew, pew, pew.
Then guess what? Delete it.
All right, fine. All right, fine, I'll delete it.
If you don't like the gun, don't use it.
But
don't have it.
But what if it's a really great roll? And what if that comes in handy someday? Is that the definition of a hoarder? Someone who says, I don't really want this, but what if it comes in handy someday?
I might use these banana peels someday.
Okay, no, that gets in there, because here's the thing: a hoarder says, this is useless, but I'm still going to keep it.
No, wait. This is hoarding. Agrius and I were talking about this the other day, because I have decluttered my vault as much as I possibly could, and the reason that I did it is because I am saving exotic engrams for potentially doing stuff, and I needed space, and I had to figure out what I was going to get rid of. So I got rid of Vault of Glass goods. I got rid of Crota goods. Why did I get rid of it? Because it's all it is vanity items at this point. You're not going to be able to use it, not for anything else. And in reality, if you want to, you can go back and run it. There are people that run this stuff all the time. We have somebody in Guardian 1, Maynard James. He runs that stuff every week, multiple times. So if I want to go back and get that gear, I can do it. So that frees up space. The problem is that we as hoarders hoard guns, and the reason we hoard guns is because they change all the time. And next week, one gun might be better than the other. But I think the problem is that we can't do that. All right, you can't. You can, but you're just not going to enjoy the game. And I've gotten to the point now where I'm not gonna. But it's not like you though. I'm not going to enjoy the game because I have too much guns to even go through. How many guns do I use? I use a handful of guns all the time. Once in a while, I might pull another gun out. So that we just got to stop doing it. Or Bungie has to fix the system that we have for exotics. Right now, we get rid of an exotic, and that means that if you want to go and buy it back, you have to do everything to get it all leveled up again. And at least guns aren't as bad as armor. Guns, it only takes 30. What is it? 30. I think it's 30 motes of light if you have a thing going. But no matter what, I mean, it's still a lot. I mean, it's all right for me. But I said to Agrius, I said, why don't you just delete this stuff? Well, I don't have the motes. I don't have the shards. I don't have as much as you do. I'm a normal player. So if Bungie fixed that problem, then we wouldn't have to worry about it. If you didn't have to go in and level up everything again, and put all that time and effort into it.
Okay, so I see what you're saying, and I absolutely agree. The meta is one of the big things that has me very interested in keeping everything that even looks remotely good. I did finally get rid of the Future War Cult pulse rifle. It's got these two bars. It looks really cool. It's got these two bars that run down the length of it, and I love the way it looks. But when I'm aiming down sight, these two bars are just in the way, and I got really great rolls on. Like I had two of them on one console, one on the other. But they just get in the way, and I feel claustrophobic. Like I feel like I have no room to, like I can't see what's going on just on the outside of the thing, and I'm just not interested in it. And because it was not usable to me in that way, I did get rid of it. So I'm totally not an absolute hoarder. I just know that if it shows up that vanity is now the new go-to weapon, I'm going to be kicking myself for not keeping it, despite not liking the way it feels or the way it looks or the way it sounds. Actually, you know what? It kind of looks cool. It kind of looks cool, but I just don't want to get rid of it. But you know what? I actually have started deleting Vault of Glass gear and also Crota gear. The only thing I haven't deleted from Crota are the weapons and the one set for my hunter, because it's got things like swing farther or faster or move quicker or whatever it is. It's got some nice rolls in that, going through and running Crota. But I guess I've run it so many times without that actual Crota gear that you're right. I should just get rid of it, and that will open up some spaces. I don't want to do it though. But see, this is it. This goes right back to the earning to get it. Like Vault of Glass gear was such a pain to get. Sometimes people sat at level 29 because they kept getting gloves and they never got boots. And over and over again, and every week they'd run it and over, and they still wouldn't get what they needed. And so I remember that, I'm scarred from not getting what I wanted to get. And now that I've got those suits, even now I've run that Vault of Glass a bunch of times with Maynard, and I just now for the very first time got the Hunter helmet ever. I've run it probably 20 times, and I never got that helmet before. And now I finally have the helmet, and I don't want to get rid of it. But you're right, I just need to get rid of it. I can run it again. It becomes increasingly easier as time moves on, both in terms of having more people to run that content with, and it's just easier overall. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Hey, Busy. Crota's End gear is totally ugly, but Vault of Glass gear was cool looking. I'll agree with you, and I was way sick of looking at the Crota's End gear. That was ugly, and I deleted that Warlock cloak with much glee. But the Vault of
Glass is my favorite raid gear.
Right, the Vault of Glass gear looks great to me. So, all right, did we get to everyone? No one else has any better ideas? I like yours, Jez. When you said close my eyes and imagine a wall that had these outlines.
I'm just going to do that every time.
What's that?
See, in my head, I'm going to do that every time, make you close your eyes. In my head, though, every time I think of what I want the gun rack to be, basically, when you start playing GTA and you've unlocked none of the guns. And you just see the outlines of where the gun should be.
I'm in.
There's a lot of things that are like that. I like that idea.
I like that idea too. Okay, so let's see. Let's move on. Vault of Glass gear. I need vault space, and vault space because it's a big deal to me.
Vault of Glass space.
The Vault of Glass space. Okay, so Agrios, I know there was a bunch of stuff we didn't get to last week. Do you have that stuff ready to go over this week, or are we just moving on to what's new this week?
Well, I think I think the stuff that we skipped over last week is more something that we can probably follow up on the end. Let's go over current events first and see where we get with that, and then discussion later we can fall back into some of the things we maybe didn't touch on last week.
Excellent. Let's do that.
Okay. So this week we saw the last Iron Banner ever in the tower. Bungie's arriving back from Gamescom. We have things to look forward to coming up. DestinyCon in Florida here is coming up, as well as PAX West. We're going to see soon here. At Gamescom, thousands of Guardians faced off in Bungie's booth to fight for honor and establish their supremacy. Getting to play the new game mode. Bungie also won an award there for Best DLC. PAX West is going to be the next place where they appear for next chance to get your hands on Rise of Iron if you're one of the lucky ones. For the first time ever, Bungie is bringing Destiny to the show floor at PAX. Many of the members of the Bungie development team will be on hand to meet players. They're going to have 12 stations playing PvP with the new feature private matches, and they're going to get to experience some 6v6 supremacy. At the booth, they're also you'll also find developer signings, cosplay meetups, and giveaways. They're also going to have the Bungie store on site with some really, really awesome exclusives, and I'm so jealous. There's all kinds of neat things to get there. They have a nice infographic showing what's available and what's exclusive and whatnot there. And as they announced earlier in the year, 100% of the Bungie store proceeds will be going to St. Jude's Hospital. Now, on the Bungie front, as far as new information goes, we don't really have a lot this week, but they did leave us at the end of the update noting that they do have more fun before the main event. Didn't go into detail on what that will be exactly. Tonight, they dropped on us a whole bunch of new art. Several of the Bungie artists are updating their portfolios on ArtStation. Aaron DeLeon, Ellen Lee, Rosa Lee, Ian McIntosh, Ken Osuna, Corrine Scrivens, and Aaron Wermeister all have updated their portfolios with a variety of artwork. But if what you see in their portfolios doesn't bear the Destiny watermark, it's not actually for Destiny because they have a lot of their own art from other projects there. So as I said before, we had the final Iron Banner this week. And it was definitely something to think about, the fact that, all these weeks, the whole way since beta, we've, we had the Iron Banner. Saladin's always appeared where he's appeared in the tower. And this marks that last time that's ever going to happen. So I definitely felt a little bit nostalgic as this Iron Banner ended. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's appropriate leading into Rise of Iron. How did you guys fare in the Iron Banner this week, Remy?
All right, so I had the worst time in Iron Banner this last week. If you follow me on Twitter, I just ripped into him. I just ripped into it. It's like an end. And the times when I had the worst trouble were on the Xbox 360. I'm still playing on the Xbox 360 because we only have one Xbox One in this house, and I enjoy playing Destiny with my 8-year-old. And him and I are trying to finish up the last parts of the that link a friend, refer a friend quest. And so we've been waiting for a nightfall that we can do just the two of us. And it's been difficult. One of those was the Shield Brother with Solar Burn, and it was like, this is ridiculous. I don't know how anybody does this. I mean, also he's underleveled. He's like 311. And it's rated at 320, so we're already going in, down. But I mean, some people solo these things, so you'd think that I would be able to do it, but it's been difficult. And so I played on the Xbox 360, and I did not receive the same results as I did on the PlayStation 4. But I tell you what, it is the most frustrating thing. Like I had to win 6 games to get my exotic cloak on the Xbox, and I played all day on Sunday. I probably played between 25 and 30 games, and the last game I played was one that I won, and that was it. I got 6 wins the whole day, and it was the most frustrating thing. I hate join in progress. I hate the fact that join in progress doesn't help me out. Like on some games, I was stuck 3 versus 6 for the longest time, or 4 versus 6, or going in at 4 versus 6, or it just was so frustrating. I hate it. Bungie needs to implement a system where if you leave a game for any reason, the only game you can go into after that is that same game. Like, that's it. And if that game is filled, then you are SOL, period. I am sick of it. I'm sick of people dropping out in the first 5 minutes because we're down 2,000 points. I'm sick of being dropped into games that are down 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 points. I'm sick of dropping into games where I hear, as my ship is flying into orbit, heavy ammo available, or seeing the burning effect from getting hit by something that has a flame effect on it. Seeing that effect on my ship while I'm going into orbit. This is unacceptable. And this is not just on the Xbox 360. It just happened to be that the 360 was horrible this weekend. I've seen this happen on the PlayStation 4, and I am absolutely sick of that. On top of that, I'm absolutely positively sick of Universal Remote. What the hell were you guys thinking, Bungie? Why would you make a primary shotgun with a range that's so much greater than even machine guns or hand cannons? Why does it have so much range? Why would you hand this out to people? I'm furious about this.
I agree with you. It's a little over OP, but it doesn't have greater range than most auto rifles or hand cannons.
No, but it has a greater range than a lot of them. And I'm looking at you,
go
Gray.
that far, man. The damage drop off
down there in your little box down there on the left. What are you doing with that Universal Remote? Why would you use that? Because you want to win.
Winning
all the time too. But I use it too. I like it a lot.
It's frustrating. I don't want to use it. And I feel like I have to use it, and that's the worst feeling ever. Feeling like I have to use this weapon to compete sucks. I hate it.
You know what,
Remy? I actually agree with you.
And I didn't use it at all this past Iron Banner, and I didn't feel it at a disadvantage. I just notice who's using it. They're not going to take it off. When you see him coming, you just start falling back and shooting him, and he can't ever catch up to you.
So, Remy, I agree with you because I prefer the long to mid-range game, but with so many people running shotgun or universal remote, I feel like people are charging way harder than they usually do, and it makes that long to mid-range game more difficult to do, at least right now. With balance changes, that's going to switch, but one of the main reasons why I use it is I feel like I kind of have to because I'm getting charged so quickly when I want to kind of keep some distance and really work on my sniping ability. But usually I'm not afforded the luxury to have time to do it.
See, that's funny. I have been using using it a lot lately myself. And when I was encountering a lot of people using it in the Iron Banner, and I just basically stopped using it because of that, because that way I could counter them better. Instead of going one-on-one, my universal remote versus their universal remote, I kept an eye out for him and would fall back and take him out with, my I can't remember the inward lamp, like scout rifle or something like that.
Okay, so I hate that Bungie was handing this out this week, but and even though I was facing this losing streak like I've never seen before, and none of my stats are up. I can't look at these stats yet because I haven't transferred over, and I'm really, really hoping that all of that data is still there. So when I finally do go to the Xbox One, I can look up my win-loss for that day, and I will update you as soon as that happens. I imagine that data is still there. It's just because if they're keeping the weapons and all of the other things that I'm earning along the way, I imagine that the data will be there too. But so I did. I knew that no matter what, I had to fight up to rank 4 to get that Daedrus's retort, because that shotgun has insane range, and so I had been holding on to 2 Jinkugoko shotguns from the gunsmith so that I could try each one of those out. Like, I just needed one. I don't care if it had 3 shots, because for the most part, shotgun is a one-shot weapon, especially with the range that some of these things have. And so I worked my way up to 4, and then once I was at 4, I decided that 5 wasn't that far away. And so I picked up that Finale's Peril. I'm not a hand cannon guy, but it looks like it was a really good roll. And and I don't want to get caught on the other side of the meta. If it turns out that gun is just a killer, I'm going to want to have it. I'm going to want to learn to use it. And this is something that happens every time, all the time. When I'm forced to use a weapon, I end up really enjoying that weapon. Like I fill out the primary bounty so quickly. I fill it out so quickly, and the heavy I always fill out quickly, and I'm always left with like 47 secondary kills left for that bounty. And so what I end up doing is I just end up using sniper rifle and then sniper rifle and then sniper rifle. And then by the time I'm done with that bounty, I'm like, man, I'm going to run over to this length of game area, and I'm going to use my sniper rifle. And so I know that if I'm forced to use something, I will get better with it. There's a learning curve, and then I will enjoy it. So I just want to make sure that I want to have as much of the meta covered as possible. It was really cool because my son on Monday, I had him just run Iron Banner the whole day. And so he got up to rank 5, and it was really cool. It was really cool to see that. It's crazy. He grew up just playing video games. Like, he was born after the Xbox 360 came out. So every single thing he's done as a gamer is recorded on his gamer tag. And I just can't even imagine what mine would look like if from age 2 or age 3, whenever he got his first achievement, what would that look like for me? But it was really fun. It was really fun watching him.
I like credit for all my trophies on Pac-Man and everything, now that you say that.
Right. I played a lot of Joust back in the day. I played a lot of Combat, a lot of Air-Sea Battle, Demons to Diamonds. Like, these are games that I should have an achievement for.
Demon Diamonds! I remember that game.
Right. What was it? Subquest or Sequest? It was it was one of those Atari games, an Activision game.
That was a great one. That was a great one too.
You had to save the divers, and you also had to worry about sharks, and you had to worry about other subs. Like, what a great game, an Activision game. There you go. But yeah, I will tell you what. Having to play all those games, I got a ton of gear. I've been sticking with level 334. I could have hit 335, but it is my personal belief that if you're 334, the game is more likely to give you 335. And out of everything I got, which was like, I got like 4 helmets on each system and like 4 chest pieces on each system and two primaries and two secondaries on each system. And out of all of that, I think only 2 or 3 were 334. Everything else was 335. So if you ask me, going into these things at just the 1 notch down is going to trigger the game to give you the next one up, because they want you to continue incrementally. And when you only have 1 more to go, they grant you a little bit better. Sharks, are you still going in at 335, and do you still think that that's the way to go? And when you played, did you get mostly 334 or 335?
I don't have any 334 gear. All I have is 335.
He's asking about what you were awarded, even though you disposed of it.
Yeah.
So he's asking both. He's asking what I went in at, and I went in at 335 because every single piece of gear I own is 335.
Yeah, but you can easily slap on one of those 320 Iron Banner Ghosts to lower yourself to 334 for the rewards if you wanted to.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, so
even your Gjallarhorn?
I had a big discussion with Agrios over this, and I have tried this in the past to go under-leveled when you're getting rewards, and that does not work, okay? I went through, like, for COE, I went, was it 5 weeks? I think it was 5 weeks in a row, and all I got was 334 gear. And I tried going 334. I tried going 333. Nothing was helping. So it's it is RNG. I know that there are people out there that believe it's not, and whatever.
There's been some very rudimentary testing done, but nothing precise by any.
Kinds of testing about all kinds of stuff. I don't care. I've tested it myself, and it don't work for me, so it don't matter. So I go in at 335. As far as gear that I got, every single piece of gear that dropped. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. Not every single piece. Almost every single piece of gear that dropped for me during Iron Banner was 335, except for my 3 rank 5 packages. All 3 were 334, and they were garbage roll.
That's interesting because both rank 5 packages I got at 334 were 335s.
Yeah, I got garbage there, but I mean, as far as what it was dropping in game, almost everything I got was 335.
So yeah, almost everything I got was 335 too. And what I want to say is, any one of our reports, Sharks or mine or Remy's, is all just going to be, anecdotal. Like, because of RNG affecting this, any one person's impressions of whether this works or not isn't going to be anywhere near conclusive. The only thing that's going to work is when a whole bunch of people get together in the community and try to test it, with a very precise method, and then that way it can be determined. And no one's just got around to gathering that information up yet. There's some very minor testing done with some people via an informal survey on the Reddit, and it seemed to imply that there was a buff. And previously, when we were leveling up with our blue items, it was discovered without refute, because of very concise testing, that lowering your light level into the 10 range, I think it was below, I think it was, if you lowered it below 290 instead of above 290, you were far more likely to get things above 290 and close to 300 than you were under it, or something of that effect. And because that was proven, and because that was proven, it makes me inclined to believe the consensus that there is at least a very small bonus to your chances of getting 335 over 334 if you're at 334.
Okay, so
since I don't have anything to add to this, guess what I found in my bank? A random No Land Beyond that was 328. How'd it got there? I don't know.
Maynard James says he rocks 333 all day and gets over 75% 335. Why rock 334 and over 90% get 335? I think that's slightly better. I did want to mention that Lays Summerstone in the chat says, IB is always worth it, even if it makes you sad. And that makes me smile. That makes me laugh and agree. I agree. It is. It has always been worth it, even if it makes me sad. I did skip the Iron Banner before last because the gear didn't appeal to me. But I mean, this one, that if you got that shotgun, it's going to do well for you. I mean, it did have replenish, which is the most horrible perk ever. But it had full auto and it had rifled barrel. So it was, it's insane. The range on that thing is insane. So
I was fortunate enough to pull a shotgun with rangefinder, extended range, slower reload time, and Grenadier, I think.
That's cool.
So, yeah, rangefinder and the extended range buff makes for a pretty decent version of that.
That's cool. I'm just glad that I decided to stick with it and pick it up. Because I feel like I'm going to add it to my arsenal, and it will be that thing that, I've been looking for something that's going to keep my mid-range game, mid to close. I enjoy mid to close range combat, not when everyone in the world is using universal remote. But if you have something that will stop that short range run. When people are coming around corners, if I could just switch to a shotgun, like that Daedrus's retort that I just picked up, and stop them, that's going to be what allows me to keep my mid-range game. Because I do try my best to keep corners at a distance, and I feel like I want to start a YouTube series on how to play the game better if you suck at it. I want to talk to the people who feel like they suck at Crucible, and I want to bring them up to that next level, because I am way better than someone who sucks at Crucible. I'm just not any of the people that you find on the very top of the leaderboards, and I'm definitely not one of those people who just lives on a sniper rifle and or No Land Beyond. I'm not that good, but I'm so much better than someone who sucks. So I want to make a Crucible guide for people who suck, because I have a really great amount of knowledge in me for not totally sucking. Like I go positive almost every game. All those times that I lost, I still went positive. Because I do watch my corners and I do keep a distance and I do keep an eye on that radar. There's just some things that if you're not, watching my son play, watching my 8-year-old play, I wanted to dive into those games so bad because it was clear that no one was watching their radar. It was clear that like he was able to run around with a shotgun. And I said, hey, don't run around with a shotgun. Keep your primary out. Like, don't charge into this room where all these people are so far away. And he did anyways. And he still beat them. It's like they sat the controller down. That's what it was like watching the people that he was playing with against. It was like watching Bife play. What were those people doing? Oh man, Bife, I'm gonna put the controller down. Oh, what is going on here? So that was Iron Banner for me. Gray, did you play Iron Banner this time, and did you get anything good?
I did, but I didn't play it that much. I only got my hunter up to rank 4 to buy the shotgun, and then I called it quits. I did have a good time with it, though. It was just kind of balancing my time that I had and what I could work on. Yeah, as far as drops, I didn't get anything. I don't think I got any good drops getting up to rank 4.
That sucks. It took me so long to get there. I got all kinds of drops. Agrios, you had something to say? Oh.
Did I make a noise?
Yeah. Yeah, you made a noise that led me to believe you were raising your hand, even though I don't have video feed of you right now. So yeah, Mystic Rose, I'd love to coach you. I would love to coach you. If you think you suck at Crucible, I can help you. I can help you if you suck at Crucible. If you're good at Crucible, or if you think that you're good at Crucible, I got nothing for you. But yeah, tell your friends. If you got some friends that suck at Crucible, I will take you out into the Crucible world, maybe even after private matches, and I will. Oh man, you know what's going to be great? Okay, 2 things I wanted to say. I meant to tweet this out. My life is hectic. Can't always get these things out. Number 1, clan pictures. Okay, back in the day, a lot of these clans had enough people to fill an entire both sides of the fire team of the going into Crucible, and so they were able to sync up and then just hang out. I was always so jealous of that. And now we'll just be able to do it. Like, we will be able to go in as a clan and take a clan picture, and it will be so excited. I'm so excited about that. Also, I cannot wait to see. Like, I want to test out how far the motion tracker goes. What does it look like when somebody is that little red, end of the pie? And how far do they have to move in to get to that other level? In Crucible, I'm never able to just, we'll hold out there 1 second, let me see how far you have to come in. Like, that's going to be exciting to see, is how far the motion tracker actually sees. I'm excited about those 2 things, with private matches. Okay. Anyone else have anything on Iron Banner, or moving on?
Well, my experience with Iron Banner this time contrasted pretty greatly with yours, Remy. I never, to my knowledge that I can remember, got put into a match that was already started if it wasn't the very first match I went into. But very, very often, the very first match I went into halfway through. I had the typical problems with red bar people, but won most of my games. At least I felt like I won most of my games. Completed all of my bounties, all of my weeklies, everything like that on all my characters. And I got decent rewards, most of which were 335, but no good rolls on anything except for that shotgun that I described. So that was my Iron Banner experience. I'm curious how what level of play you get put into can affect this overall experience. Like, I'm curious how the game compares you and I, Remy, as far as... Because you and I have very, very, very extremely different play styles. But I feel like we're both pretty close to the same, like, on our team, getting our teams to win skill level. So I'm curious to how the game would compare you and I as far as matchmaking goes. Because I feel like you end up suffering more than I do because of your particular play style. Like, I'll often, when I'm playing solo, top my team with the most kills, or at very least the most points. I tend to get a lot of assists though. But my KD, even on my winning team at the top, is many times only like between 0.9 and 1.1. Whereas you, even on a losing team or something like that, I've seen you go like 5.0 and stuff on a regular basis. So I'm curious about how matchmaking affects both of our experiences.
Right. I'm wondering if that KD is something that they focus on. So it doesn't matter if I'm, kill 5 and die once, or kill 20 and die 4 times. Like I'm curious to know if that has something to do with it, because I feel like I keep getting put into matches where everybody is just on top of their game. Like watching my son try and use a sniper rifle, and watching the other people who have had their red dot on him forever, and he just picks them off and taking his sweet time. Like what does it look like? What do our profiles look like? I would love to see that. I would love to see the behind the scenes information. Like you and I go into a match, you get a certain group, I get a certain group. I feel like Bungie expects me to be the savior on some of these teams. And if what the person who I replaced was doing was just dying over and over and over, I can help that team. But only if it's that one person.
See, I feel that way too. Like, oftentimes, like, if I'm not the star of my team, that's the times we lose when I go solo. So I feel very much the same way as you when I go, and I feel like Bungie's expecting me to be the star of the team when I'm in there.
Right, but we have opposite effects. So, like, you go in and you're the star of the team and you win, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
And if you're not the star of the team, you guys lose?
Yeah.
If I'm the star of the team, my team has lost and lost badly. If I'm on the bottom of the team, our team wins. So, like...
And see, the thing is, I'll get 22 kills and die 16 times, but you'll get, and you'll have 3 times my KD, but not as many kills.
Right. Right, it sucks. But how about we move on?
All right, moving on. Staying with PvP though. Trials of Osiris final dates. So this is going to affect both next gen and last gen players. The legacy consoles, their final ever Trials of Osiris will be August 26th through August 30th. That's right around the corner here. So that's it. That's the last one, Legacy Consoles, last weekend. And next gen, we're going to have this weekend and next weekend. So that's the weekend ending, the weekend of the 2nd will be our final weekend until September 30th, which is well after the launch of Rise of Iron. So if you have anything you need to do in Trials before Rise of Iron, last 2 weekends here. The Taken King players on current gen consoles. On a side note, this is separate from Trials of Osiris, but part of the technical portion of Bungie's update tonight. But the Taken King players on current gen consoles will also need to purchase Destiny Rise of Iron once it's released in order to continue accessing Trials of Osiris. This is a little bit of a departure from the way things worked in the past, whereas if there was content that came out with House of Wolves and you didn't buy Taken King, you still got to participate in the House of Wolves content. So this is interesting way they're handling this particular aspect. Feelings on the Trials of Osiris wrap up, Remy?
What was that?
Did you have access to Trials of Osiris if you didn't buy Taken King?
When did Trials of Osiris come out?
It came out in House of Wolves.
Okay, I would have thought so. I don't remember this announcement previously.
See,
I don't know anybody who didn't buy the Taken King and play Destiny, though.
There's no real way to tell, but I'm pretty sure even if you could, it would be tough goings.
Well, I have a fairly good memory as far as for things that I've done, and I can tell you for certain that I didn't report this information that if you didn't get Taken King, you wouldn't be able to continue playing Trials last year. I would remember that.
Yeah, I have a good memory too, and I don't remember that either.
I mean, they may have just not said anything, and that might have been the case, and that's why they're saying things this time so that people aren't caught off guard like they were last time. But I don't have any. I don't remember any sort of mention of that previously, and that's why I thought this was odd. Like, as far as I knew, any content that came with any of the expansions, you were able to, play that content even if you didn't get the next expansion. Like if you got House of Wolves, you could still go back and fight Skolas and do all the old Prison of Elders stuff, just not the new Prison of Elders stuff.
So
I'm not sure how I feel about a feature. Like, how would you feel if you bought a game and Trials of Osiris is listed as one of the features of that game, and then all of a sudden, the next expansion comes out and you can't play the content that you've already bought? That's a little bit of a gray area for me.
You probably feel like this guy in this Reddit post.
Did the Trials of Osiris content change going into Taken King?
Year 2. Yeah, that's right. It went from year 1 to year 2, right? Or is that in April? That was Taken King, right? The year 1 content ended right before Taken King. Yeah.
When you say the content, are you talking about the weapons and armor?
Yeah. When did the emblem change?
It was in April. In April, the emblem changed. They also changed the primaries that they didn't have burn anymore.
In April? I thought they did that with the Taken King.
No, that was for Taken King. No primaries had burn anymore as of launch of Taken King.
That was April.
No, that was
September.
September.
Taken King. I think that was Taken
September.
It was September. April update was.
Well, no, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm thinking that the April update was Taken King. No, you're right. Okay, so Taken King. Yeah.
I can't wait to cut that clip. That was April. I love it.
We can't.
I
can't acknowledge that in earnest without mentioning our little friend Zalo.
True.
That's true.
The only
burn
legendaries
primary.
But it goes back to that they're changing Trials of Osiris again. So, new armor and all that stuff.
But what we're saying is, what we're asking though is, did the people who did not buy Taken King lose access to Trials of Osiris when the Taken King was launched? Like like the people who bought Taken King are losing access when Rise of Iron is launching.
I don't know, but I know that we've had this discussion before about you and I realized that this is a problem because you bought Destiny with the thought of playing Trials, but I don't think that.
Well, we were talking about last gen people at that point. When we had that conversation, we were talking about, I don't feel like it's fair that they don't also run an Iron Banner and Trials for the last gen console until, as long as they're supporting Destiny. I feel like they should, personally. And I think that's the conversation you're remembering.
I don't think that Destiny is promoted as, you buy Destiny and you play Trials.
Yeah, but Trials of Osiris, was that listed as a featured game mode, like a new feature of, the House of Wolves? Like when you pick up the box and look on the back, it says new game mode, Trials of Osiris, fun to play, blah, blah, blah. Because if that's the case, the people who pick up that will still pick up that in the store.
I don't think it does. I don't think it does.
So,
you didn't really have to deal with this before in games. Games weren't updated live like this, didn't have events that only took place at a certain time. If there was an event in a game, that's because it was on a pre-programmed schedule in that game when it launched, because games didn't have live updates. So this was never a concern before. But it's an odd perspective going into, someone looks at some content, decides to buy that content. I mean, if they're going to do that, I almost feel like they need to have a date. Like, this content's available from this date to this date when you make the purchase.
I see what you're saying. I think we're getting a little off subject. I did want to address some people in the chat real quick. SDF Lomboy says, I need help with Crucible, Remy. No, you don't. Stop it. Additionally, Busy says, the best way to not suck at Crucible is just to play. And this is true. But additionally, Mystic Rose says, I've been getting better slowly, but I spend so much energy trying to stay alive. I have minimal map awareness, working on that, but could use a good coach. And then Busy says, making the same mistake enough times will teach you to eventually avoid that mistake. A coach is nice, but failure and experience are still the best teachers. And I want to add to this that I feel like there's something to another person let's say someone who is better at something than you, to say this activity or this specific doing this is okay. This is okay. And for the longest time, I felt like I needed to rush out into combat like Sharks does or like Agrios does, like because that was working for them and because they're constantly at the top of the leaderboard, I felt like that's what I had to do. And so I kept just getting killed. Like I just kept getting killed over and over, and it wasn't working for me. And I wish that I had somebody say to me, it's okay to not rush out into combat, because at this point I feel comfortable not running out into combat. I feel comfortable working my way slowly out into certain areas.
You've hit the nail on the head, Remy. That's the whole thing. There isn't a better way. Your way or my way isn't better. It's better for you. It's better for me. What the key is to getting good in Crucible is finding the play style and the weapon combinations that work for you and your mindset and the way that you use strategy. I actually had the opposite problem of Remy. I used to try to play like Remy does. I used to be thoroughly concerned about staying alive. That was the main concern to me. The problem was that I wasn't taking enough risk, that I wasn't putting myself out there to get the kills to really contribute to my team. Just safeguarding my KD wasn't winning games for me or my team. So when I finally just got the balls to stick my neck out there, rush into battle, and get some kills, my team started excelling, and I started moving up to the top of the leaderboards. My KD, however, was going down. So the whole way that I end up playing and the play style that works for me is I like to have both things. I like to have a shotgun and like a longer range auto rifle or a scout rifle or something like that going in. I move in looking for the long shot. But if I catch someone off guard or I'm caught off guard, I move right into full aggression up front in their face, attack immediately, switch gears instantaneously. And that's the way that I play. And I have the mindset this whole time that I'm using that style is I need to get one kill this life. Once I get one kill, I've paid for this life. And everything I get after that is bonus. I don't want to ever live a life without getting a kill. So instead of worrying about staying alive, I'm more worried about making sure I get a kill before I get killed. And when I changed my play style to that drastic, polar shift from where I played before, that's when I started moving to the top of the leaderboards and my team started winning.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So yeah, it's about finding what style works for you, and it's weapon combination is really a big thing. What do you feel comfortable with? What do you instinctively know you're going to be swapping to or swapping from? Like these are things that like whenever I'm used to carrying with me at this point a sniper rifle, just because when I have to do those bounties, a sniper rifle is much easier to get the kills for me than trying to take down a charging shotgunner with my sidearm, which has worked and I have used before. But as far as making sure I get those kills, I can sit way far back and watch those lanes like every sniper does. And so yeah, like knowing what you're swapping to, knowing what to expect, these are all things that are going to help you feel more comfortable there. And I don't know.
Remy, I think you bring up a really good point. One thing that you could do in these videos that you intend to do or in training sessions, learning loadouts. I think the biggest deficiency I had going into Crucible, I just went in with whatever I had on. I didn't think about the roles. I didn't think about what my balance was as far as discipline or strength or intellect and how that reflected on my subclass and what I selected. I just went in with kind of the same stuff I did for PvE, and I was terrible. And it's getting those settings, getting your setup correct, I think, that really gives you that edge, or at this point in the game, makes you on the same playing field as all the rest of the players that are out there on PvE, or PvP, sorry. I think a lot of people who don't do a lot of PvP, they don't have their subclass set up correctly, they don't have their gear and weapon combination set up correctly, and that puts them at a disadvantage as soon as they go in.
Absolutely.
Well,
you know what? I
funny. I go in with my PvE setup, and I'm better for it. And
well, that's probably because you know what you're expecting out of those weapons. Right?
Well, I say that, but I also put on a shotgun. But I would use a shotgun if we were back to House of Wolves shotguns. Those are good. But no, I go in with my long-range scout, my Jade Rabbit most likely lately, and a shotgun, which lately I've been using Deirdre's Retort just because it's higher light and it was decent. And surprisingly, what I do is I peek around a corner, scout down the lane with my scout, and then I rush it. That's all I do. And I've been getting better, I guess.
That's very, very similar to the way I work PvP, Jez, actually. Like I said, right now my favorite weapon, by a large, large margin, I've talked about on the show before, is my full auto PDX 45 with high caliber rounds. I just can't get over how amazing this gun is. I'm never going to find another primary that suits me as well as this does. It's great in long range because of the pulse rifle distance and stability. It's great in close range because of the full auto. And it's great against anybody trying to target you because of the high impact rounds.
Now, this is for the hunter. I got to ask, how many you run full agility builds?
I don't run full agility at all. I run absolutely bottom of the barrel agility. I run full armor with whatever's left in
recovery.
Yeah, recovery.
Yeah, I'm full agility all the time. That's.
I wonder. I know that I said I was going to run this last time, and I still mean to. I just keep forgetting. I just don't think to myself. I'm gonna have to try it, and then also Radiant Dance Machines with Mida Multi-Tool. Yeah, because I will be really surprised. I'll be really surprised if that's going to if that changes that enough.
It changes it up, but I don't think it improves game.
Oh yeah.
No. Unless you're used to going that fast, then knowing that you can dip out and how quickly you can dip out, usually it's more of a, I don't have very much armor at all.
Yeah, see,
right.
I want to elaborate. I wanted to add to what Grace said about the loadouts being important, and primarily, in the armor department, I think that the loadouts are really important for going into PvP. In particular, if you like to get up close and personal, the increased melee attack speed is just indispensable. And something else that's maybe a little more subtle, but I definitely notice the difference when I forget to put it on correctly, is to wear the right armor for your subclass. That the chest piece has that bonus armor for this base subclass. I notice when I'm not wearing the right one in. I'm like, why do I keep getting killed so easy? Why do I keep losing these one-on-one battles? And just that little extra bit, that's why I run out of certain situations with almost no visible life alive in the winter. Whereas other times I forget to put that armor and I don't. Yeah.
That is important. I always make sure to wear that piece of armor that matches the subclass I'm using. That's a really big one.
That probably also helps because I never switched from Night Stalker.
You know what? That's another thing, Jez. I usually use Night Stalker, so instantly when I see that Void Armor increase, I want to keep it. But then I see these other ones, and at some point, I think I might like to use Golden Gun. I've been killed by Golden Gun so much, and it's so quick, and you can quickly take out 3 to 4 people, depending on your loadout. I would really like to be able to use it, but that would just mean more vault space that I would need for another piece of gear that would bump my armor up. So, I don't know.
I like Night Stalker because while you can't kill more than 4 people, can't kill more than 3 people like Blade Dancer, and you are not as easy to get 3 kills with, for instance, Golden Gun, you still have the option to slow down someone that's with his friend. So you potentially could get, not really a collateral, but a second kill easier.
Totally. I wanted to bring that up on the show for a while. The changes they've made to the Night Stalker absolutely suck. They said that they were going to change it to when you threw down a spot, it would instantly hit the enemy player. I've noticed that it's worse now. I've noticed that when you throw down a spot, it doesn't go right to them. It doesn't even go right to them as much as it did previously. And not only that, I've hit people square with one of those bolts, and it's not killed them. And this has happened a bunch of times. Like they've nerfed the Night Stalker, and it sucks. Let me guess. It's usually Sunbreaker Titans. They charge at you. You shoot them in the chest, and they go right past the anchor point before it activates. Yeah. So they take the damage from it, but it doesn't pull them out of it, and then they kill you. Yeah, it's really frustrating. It's really, really frustrating. I mean, it's hard enough for me to hit people with that damn arrow as it is. You know, sometimes I'm just glad that I've stopped hitting like terrain. I've learned enough to be clear when I'm shooting it out. But yeah, I've hit people straight on, and it's not killed them. It's not stopped them. I've thrown it down in front of people, and they've from behind it run past in front of it and still not been hit by it, and I just don't understand. Like, this sucks.
I stopped using Night Stalker actually when they fixed the hit detection on the melees from the Arc Blade. I went right back to Arc Blade.
Interesting. I'll have to check that out. I still need the Arc exotic sword, and so I need to do some kills with that subclass. Okay, so we are down to about 40 minutes left in the podcast, I believe. So why don't we move it or lose it?
All right, so they won again. This week, the streak grows to 10 weeks, but this time it was very close. So the challenge vouchers this week, the high score is 85,985, again going to SD Battlefront, Red Sox 007, and Blaze Boss 17. However, second place was at 83,045, only a 2,940 point difference. And the second place team was Crusher 78, Forgotten Sage 250, and Matt Sansom. Last week, Crusher 78 was also in the second place fire team, but he had two different teammates. And will this be the team leader to finally put together a team to dethrone SD Battlefront and his crew?
Who cares?
Deej adds I care. This is impressive. Deej adds at the end, would someone please knock those elder champions off their perch as kings of the mountain so we can finally interview them for the blog? So I'm interested to see what these guys have to say. This is seriously some dedication and some impressive achievement to make sure no one has passed them any week. I wonder how many times they run it till they're happy with their high score for the week.
It's a good question. And also, this is boring. Like, I'm not saying you're boring, Agrios. I'm saying, like, every week it's these same guys, and every week it's, you know, like.
See, on the other hand, I feel like it's building tension. I feel like, oh my God, I can't believe they're still up there. Oh my God, the second place is only 2,940 points behind them. I'm finding myself more enthralled this week than previous weeks.
I think it's because only 10 fire teams played Trials of Elders.
I agree with that. That's funny. Right, there's only.
So what you're just saying? Everybody's scared to try to dethrone them? Is that what you're saying? Everybody's scared in the community. All the millions of people that play Destiny are scared.
I don't think that's what he's saying. I think he's saying that no one gives a crap about it anymore.
No one likes Prison of Elders.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying they're scared either. I'm just saying I don't know. They're putting out there. No one's been able to dethrone them. So this week, the movie of the week was a excellent drum cover of the Fallen Saber music. He plays along with the music provided by Destiny, and it's definitely a good display of some skill. Runner-ups this week, honorable mention, Don't Stop Me Now, goes to our favorite weapon, Universal Remote. There's a montage of kills using it. The last honorable mention was Move Your Feet, which looks like a Destiny iPod commercial. It's got the silhouettes. It's very well done. It's kind of neat, and definitely I thought it's a Destiny iPod commercial. Coming up this weekend on Saturday, August 27th, in Tampa, Florida, at the Florida State Fairgrounds, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. will be the Destiny Community Con. In the weekly update this week, they say if you find yourself traveling to a gathering to the Guardian gathering at Destiny Community Con, be safe and have an amazing time. The momentum you've gathered to make the world a better place has been most impressive. Enjoy the after party. We're sending an emissary to celebrate with you. So Bungie's going to be representing at this year's Destiny Community Con. The after party, beginning after the regular portion ends at 7, is a 21 and older after party at Gasper's Grotto in Tampa, Florida. Leading up to this event, there is a week-long charity stream to benefit St. Jude's Children's Hospital, in which they were able to raise, amazingly, over $500,000 for the event. And this is just absolutely incredible. What do you guys think about this? Did you guys all get a chance to check it out?
Yeah, this is really something. This is really, what's funny is River was tweeting out about this earlier today, and I felt like they were going to hit over 500,000. I almost tweeted out, "What if I told you I thought that they were going to hit over that?" And this was before they hit. This is before they hit 400,000. I think. I just had this feeling that this momentum was building up, and that we hadn't heard anything really from Bungie yet. Like they hadn't stepped in and started. Like, I think that they wanted to see what was going to happen naturally with it, and so this is really amazing. This is really setting the bar high. This is really taking it to the top. Like, congratulations to all of them, and they should be really proud of themselves. They did a great job. They really did it. Sharks, what's your take on this?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, double the amount that any gaming stream has ever done for them. It's just unbelievable. And I put my 777 in. I donated some, and many others did too. It's a great cause, and it's awesome that all of these big time streamers and YouTubers and everybody else in the community get together and do something good for a good cause.
Right, definitely. Gray?
Yeah, it's incredible, and I hope that I hope that there's some good publicity that comes out of this that just shows how rich and rewarding this community really is. I think that a lot of what gets published, at least in the gaming circles, is a little salty at times, and I think that here's a community that's kind of come together to celebrate a game, and they've chosen to take that opportunity to raise money to a good cause, and I think it exceeded all expectations. I think it's going to continue to grow, and I hope that everybody who worked really hard to make this thing happen, I hope that they get a good nod from the community, they get a good nod from Bungie, and then even just the people that are outside of the community, the media. I hope that they pick this up and they can see that, a bunch of millennials playing video games can turn around and try to help cure cancer with St. Jude. So I think that's awesome.
Funny that you note that. It actually received coverage from CNBC.
Yeah, and Forbes.
Well, Forbes covers everything to do with Destiny, so I don't count them.
Forbes funny. Is a little weird like that, but I mean, some of the things, and it is calling them out. Kotaku hasn't even picked this up at all. They didn't do one article on it.
Crazy. Jez, what are your thoughts on this?
You can't make cake without salt.
I like it. And by that I mean fascinating.
But yeah, in general, it's pretty awesome that this salty crew can. Well, not this salty crew, but this gigantic salty crew can donate that much over and over again, really. But this is exceptional.
This is exceptional. I agree. Okay, moving on.
Well, that pretty much wraps up all the news I have for this week. There are a couple other oddball tidbits. For instance, the speaker is selling a 104% strength of the pack cloak this week. As far as getting your tier 12 builds, that's a pretty good roll on a cloak there.
What does it got?
What's that?
Intellect, strength, discipline.
I have to click on it, and I didn't go that far.
Give me 1 second, because I bought it.
Okay, there you go.
It's
Jez will
discipline
fill you in on that one.
It's discipline and strength?
So perfect for Night Stalker.
Yeah, way perfect for Night Stalker. I'm looking forward to that. You know what else I'm looking forward to? I'm looking forward to picking up that Fellwinter's artifact. And then I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to start wearing the Shade Step helmet. I've run into a bunch of scenarios where I'm like looking down an aisle and I think to myself, I need to move. And for the longest time, whenever I put on Shade Step, I just didn't use it. I just didn't have my enhanced radar. And so I've really been like, there's been a couple of times in Destiny where I feel my workflow within the game change. Like I feel myself stepping through my shadow, coming out the other side. And this is one of those times where I feel like I'm ready for Shade Step. Like I'm ready to be able to see that I'm in a horrible situation and then, back out of it very quickly. And with the addition of those grenades, or the grenades and the melee, I think I'm ready to give that a shot. I think that's going to be awesome. So. Is that all we got, Agrios, or did you have other things?
Well, I've also linked a video in the chat of 20 orbs being generated from a melee attack. It's a bit of an interesting video, worth check out. Something on the subreddit I found. Also, something I learned about just before the podcast, but I haven't had a chance to verify it myself. Allegedly, the Nope emote that was given to us is missing if you own the Boo emote. So if this is the case, I won't be able to pull the Nope emote out of my vault. So I hope I didn't delete it on all of my characters. I hope it's still on each of my characters, because if I didn't keep it from the original time I got it, I won't have it.
Even if you change to another character who doesn't have that other emote.
All my characters have the Boo emote. It's in your kiosk once you buy it on all accounts.
Oh, interesting. And this is the one that they gave away for free that was the yes and the no, or this was a separate one?
Right, the yes and the nope or whatever were the ones they gave away. So the nope, the so-and-so disagrees emote, is allegedly, once again, I haven't checked this myself, but according to the internet, and it seems legit, that the nope emote is gone if you own the Boo emote. Now, I'm happy to own the Boo emote. It's the only emote I'm ever going to use in my interchangeable emote slot as far as I'm concerned. So it's not that big of a deal, but I mean, it's still disappointing that, if you are unaware of this and delete your Nope emotes, you won't be able to get them back.
Got it.
Also, there is something that's been decided, DTG Day, Destiny the Game, the subreddit. If you're a follower or a Redditor over there, and you want to participate, DTG Day is going to be September 19th, the eve of the release of Rise of Iron, and everybody who wants to celebrate as being a member or a participant at the subreddit is to wear either Glowhoo or Aurora Blur and the sign of the Finite emblem. At least the Aurora Blur and the sign of the Finite emblem are available to everyone still at this point, so everybody can still get those who wants to. But in-game, you'll know who else is a fellow Redditor, and it's sort of just a celebration of a great place that we like to come together.
That's awesome. That's way awesome. When is it?
September 19th. It's on the Rise of Iron Eve.
Got it. Rise of Iron Eve.
Yellowhorn Day.
Yeah, you missed Yellowhorn Day.
I said I miss it. Because that's the stupidest day of the year.
Every day is Yellowhorn Day for me. I oftentimes wear that in the tower just because it's beautiful. I love it.
I gotta laugh. During that week, I think I had Yellowhorn drop twice in my raids.
Crazy.
And I seen it drop many more times. It was almost on purpose. That or confirmation bias.
Yeah, I'll go along with confirmation bias. Okay. Moving on.
But that's everything I got for sure for this week. I got nothing else.
Got it. Okay, Gray, did you have anything else you want to talk about Destiny?
I do not.
Sharks, do you have anything you want to talk about in Destiny?
You going to PAX? Maybe I'll come up and stay with you.
I am going to PAX. I only have a ticket for Monday, though. And so you're welcome up here. What are you going to do with your dog?
I don't know. I got a mom and a dad.
Okay, good, because my dog got attacked at this park right next to my house because some lady had her pit bull off leash and it came up and bit on my dog, and now it's never going to be the same. So yeah, you're welcome up here. Let's go to PAX. I mean, did you already get tickets, or are you just looking to pick some up outside the event?
Looking to pick some up. I want to go. I'm excited to go. I wanted to go last year. Maybe I'll come.
Right, this year is going to definitely be worth it because not only will Bungie be there, but they will have Destiny there, and we'll be able to play it before then. I don't know.
If we can convince Deej to come on the show.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. Jez, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Go PAX, woo!
Okay.
I do have some discussion about year one we could get into from last week.
Yeah, what you got?
Okay, so featured in the Edge article was, the Edge feature, Edge magazine feature, was something about the problems with Destiny and hopeful solutions. They note things, year one problems, Destiny's tool set, a desperate rewrite of the story, the struggle from adjusting from Halo to Destiny's more complex world, and of course Gjallarhorn. They noted in there that the new Gjallarhorn was not going to be as powerful as in year one. They note in there that Destiny 2 was meant to launch this fall, but was pushed back to 2017, and Luke Smith is now the lead for development on that. ROI, Rise of Iron, only came into being when the decision was made to actually push Destiny 2 back by a year, something they note is very out of character for Activision to allow, and they believe this was the smartest choice as opposed to releasing a game like Vanilla Destiny, which was clearly not ready. Lars Bakken says that issues don't always pop up when you're testing the game with 100 people, but then become apparent when the community of a couple hundred gets into it. Reports have previously claimed that Bungie's tools were inefficient for building Destiny. Johnny Barnes, VP of Game Development, admits there were problems, but says that they were rooted in going from a staff of 150 to 600 plus, and a failure to adapt to that change. They tried to remain as just a single team, and that didn't allow for the type of division of resources and attention necessary. Now they actually have 3 different teams. There's the Destiny main, focused on the next major update, which in this case is Destiny 2 in 2017. The live team, responsible for the persistent world we'll be seeing in Rise of Iron. And the engine team, who improves the technology that aids in development. The engine team has been able to help most recently by dropping last-gen support, which affected a portion of the player base, which is smaller than 10%. And it was felt necessary due to graphical and memory restrictions. So a lot of the things they mention here were we already kind of knew, but they were regarded as rumor, as in leak, and were unverifiable. Especially the stuff about like Destiny's engine not being up to spec and actually being part of the problem in making necessary changes to Destiny. It's also interesting to hear for them to admit that the launch of Vanilla Destiny was at a time when the game was clearly not ready to launch yet. So I find Bungie discussing this stuff extremely refreshing. And I love hearing about it and look forward to hearing a lot more about it as they feel comfortable putting it out there. What do you have to think about this, Remy?
I feel like there's, when we were watching this before it was even supposed to come out, like when they started giving us this drip of info that they had, and then going up to even the launch, like I went to that party before it launched, and I talked to Lars, and I brought up the term focus. And he said, "Oh, you're still calling it focus? Like we've moved on to subclass. Like there's a huge difference between where they are and where they were and where we are in that in that span. And so I feel like something like Destiny, it's just never going to be done, like they're working on it, and I feel like it's coming along great, and it wasn't, when they released, it wasn't ready. Well, if we're to look at even where we were with the Taken King, then none of what they've released was ready, and at some point you just have to put the game out. You don't have any more time to preload all this stuff. So it's like when I see weapons and, from like the concept art stages, I feel like they tackled each thing as it came along, and I don't know. I feel like it's natural, I think, is what I'm trying to say.
To put this in perspective for some of our newer Guardians or some of the people who maybe haven't been keeping up, that much pace on what happened in the early development time of Destiny, it's known now that, we saw a video, our first videos of actual Destiny, like being played and stuff, a year and several months before Destiny finally ended up launching. This would have been at E3 2012, right? Because it launched in 2014 or it would have been 2013, E3 2013, because then there was an E3 in 2014, then it launched, right? So the E3 in 2013, we saw some videos of it, and that's where the famous Pete Parsons saying that, oh, you can see all that over there, you'll be able to go to all that. Now, something that to put this all in perspective is that was June, July, August, September. That was a year and 4 months before the game launched. At 9 months till the game launched, so 7 months after that E3, that's when the grimoire and the flavor text on the weapons and stuff, that's when those all started to be written. The grimoire and stuff wasn't even started till 9 months before launch. That's at the point in time when they're talking about the drastic story rewrite, when the rumors of what we heard in the past, of what we thought we could expect in Destiny, that's when a lot of that went away, the early people following it. Like, allegedly, the early mission that was out in the wild people were testing was of, at some point, our Guardian going out into the wild and getting kidnapped by Crow, which was the name of the prince, the queen's brother. And that was how we were going to get, brought in on some of the story and whatnot. And obviously, that never happened. So,
we also had, 3 different starting areas depending on your race, and
correct,
that's why you wake up as a zombie, because that was waking up as a robot.
Interesting.
Yep. So there's a lot of changes, and these took place a very, very short period before Destiny itself actually launched.
Yeah, but you have to realize that Bungie's at the point now that there is no way that us as the community is going to let that happen again. If that happens, they're going to lose fans. So they had to push it back. It's better to make people antsy and upset that they're having to wait than to release something that's crap.
What I'm really curious about is when they decided to push it back. I would like to know when that hammer dropped. Because originally in the original contract, Destiny was supposed to have launched in September of 2013, and then Destiny, or September 2013, and it was pushed back a year to begin with.
They probably pushed it back when they gave the reins to Luke Smith, because Destiny 2 was being worked on already, and they did basically the same thing in giving it to somebody else. And in this case, it was Luke Smith. And there's an actual date that's out there somewhere when he took over. I don't remember when it was, and it wasn't long after that they were talking about pushing it back. So, obviously there was more internal turmoil like there was before. I mean, obviously not like there was before, but I mean some kind of turmoil. I mean, we got changes of the execs and all kinds of stuff going on at Bungie just a year ago. So.
Awesome. Moving on.
So that's the meat of it. That's what we didn't discuss last week.
Got it. I guess that's it. I guess that's the show. Nobody else has anything to talk about. All I want to talk about is vault space.
we're gonna cut before the exact 2 hour mark.
You know what it is because Crimson Warlock isn't here. You know, if he was here,
his commentary, taking that out of his response out of every single question, yeah, that would definitely cut the show down some. It's never got to the point where we've not had a dozen things we wanted to talk about that that we didn't have time to talk about. So this hasn't really ever happened before.
We're at the point now that everybody's ready for Rise of Iron. I mean, it's, to be quite honest, we've gone through a lot of the stuff that Game Informer and Edge and everybody else has talked about, and we're ready to go. You know,
that's a good point. And there's more fun to be had before Rise of Iron launches. What else can they possibly show? I don't even want to see anymore.
I feel like they definitely have one or more big thing to discuss. Like I feel like
they could do a live stream of like Forge. The Forge.
Yeah, I bet you can see a live stream of one of those. That makes sense.
Yeah, and you know what? I feel like they dropped private matches way early too. Like there was still over a month left to go.
We complain when we don't hear anything, and then we complain when we hear stuff. You know, we just have to close our eyes and bring on somebody else and talk about art or something next week and the week after, and not talk anymore about what we're gonna play, because soon we're not gonna have to play it.
What's that?
No, go ahead.
You know who I'd like to have on the show is that lazy Summerstone guy. I hear he's really cool.
You know what, Remy? They dropped the private match information so early because they wanted to use the private matches at Gamescom and at PAX. And they couldn't very well use them there as a feature if they didn't announce it before that.
Well, I mean, I guess they weren't using any system that even remotely looked like that previously. I guess the system they used just looked a lot like randomly joining.
You just had a private server set up, so it just looked like you're in regular Destiny. You just weren't in regular Destiny with anybody else who wasn't at the convention.
I do want to bring something up since we have a short bit of time, because I said I was going to bring it up this week. I'm actually really, really pissed at Bungie for one thing, and that's their some of their gear that they are touting as all this new gear that's identical to one another.
Continue. What specifically?
Iron Lord set and Iron Banner set. The only difference, for the most part, on almost every piece is that one has the axe and the other has the Iron Banner.
And also the natural non-shadered coloring on them, I guess, is different too.
Yeah, but that's lame. That is lame. You know, you are going to come in here with all these different gear sets, and you're going to sit here and you're going to tell us that there are these 4 main gear sets coming in, and 2 sets are the same. And I'm not the only one that noticed it. I noticed it right away, and I wanted to talk about it last week, and I forgot about it. Well, in the meantime, Dado actually brought it up, and he did a video on it too. So, you know, it's not just me. There are a lot of people out there in the community that think that, you know, it's kind of ridiculous. You're going to put all this time and effort into stuff. It doesn't take that much to take those polygons, move them around, and give it a little bit different look, you know.
You know, I bet what's different is the ornaments for them, or maybe what they can wear, or whatever. Like, there's got to be something.
I don't think it's the same.
Yep. I bet you there's different ornament sets available for the 2 different sets of armor, because we already know that ornaments can only be used on specific sets of armor. So I bet you, basically, this was a way of them allowing more ornaments to be used, like over a variety of things.
That's a cop-out reason, though. Yeah. Oh, you want to have more ornaments, so we'll make some of the sets look exactly the same, and because then people aren't going to be wearing. They're just going to want it for the ornament. You know.
You know what I don't know. You know what I really like is that the Trials armor looks lame to me this time through. Like Iron Banner armor looks cool. The Iron Lord armor looks cool. You know, and I suppose I suppose.
You shut your mouth, Remy.
See, I think the trial stuff with the ornaments on it looks badass.
It's the ornaments that are going to make everything look awesome. Actually, wait a minute. You saying about the ornaments looking different? I don't think you have ornaments on Iron Banner gear, if I remember right.
No, I think you do.
Oh, well, then that would be the difference right there. Is it Iron Lord?
That means that you're... No, it's still the same. It's still the same gear.
No, but you have to go out and earn your Iron Lord gear in order to put ornaments on it. That's what Remy's saying. So you can go get Iron Banner gear all you want, but if you want to wear ornaments, you got to earn the Iron Lord set. You know? I think that's what Remy's saying.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'd say
Iron Banner gear won't have the node to put the ornaments on it. Maybe.
I might need you to link me the images of these being the same thing, because I'm seeing two different armor.
I sent them on Twitter too. You can. I'll send them to you. I'll send you sheets again if you want to see it. They
can, but I sent 2 images with it labeled on the image to them last week.
Well, Bungie actually showed all 4 sets with the 3 Guardians, and see, this is what I think. This is what really got me going last week too, in that when they showed the Iron Lord set and then they showed the Iron Banner set, they decided to take and swap 2 of the characters and put them into different positions so that people really didn't notice it, because they didn't do that on the other shots. On the other shots, it was like Warlock, Titan, Hunter, Warlock, Titan, Hunter, and then suddenly it was like Warlock, Hunter, Titan, and I was like, those are the same. I'm not losing it. So, but I'll send them over to you and show you. Unless Gray has them handy somewhere.
Gray, do you have those? Why don't you throw those up on the stream right now? Also, I want to say, let's see, Busy says the Iron Banner weapons look amazing. I don't know that they look amazing necessarily, is that they do look pretty cool. Unilala brings up a good point, and this is another area. So Crimson Warlock isn't here, so he can't add his 2 cents. But Unilala says, I'm staying away from any new videos myself, and I think that that's part of what's going on here too, is that because it's not here, like I want to run that strike on my own. I want to run that strike without knowing what happens next. You know, certainly I know that the end bad guys are that ogre with its head split open, which is crazy still, and that other guy with the ogre eye gun. Like I know about that, but I haven't seen how he's defeated. I haven't seen really the room that they're in. I haven't seen anything leading up to that, and I'm not interested in seeing any of that. So there's actually a lot more information we could be talking about if it was something that I wanted to do, if it was something that we wanted to do. I don't want to watch those things. I want to see those things for myself, and that's actually led to me skipping quite a bit of gear, or quite a bit of videos, and I think that that's another reason that we're not, at the 2-hour mark saying, all right, gotta go. Because...
Right. Yeah. No. There's one other thing that we can bring up that some people out there might be interested in, because time is running out. Loot Crate has included Destiny this month. So if you want something potentially really cool, and I have a feeling I know what it is, because I believe it was Irk tweeted out Mini Hawkmoon, and that might be what you get in the Loot Crate, because it was just kind of funny that he tweeted that out, and then Loot Crate started promoting again. They were saying, don't forget about us. But go and check out your Loot Crate. Order a Loot Crate if you want to get something special.
I heard that it was a shirt. I heard it was something that you wear. So I don't know. And it's not just Loot Crate. It's Loot Crate Gaming.
Right.
Is what it is.
Right. Yeah. They have a whole bunch of different kinds. I think it's $30. It works out to be $30.
I want to know, when is the last time we can order that shirt? From getting the Year 2 Moment of Triumphs.
I think is in October.
Oh, seriously? It's that far out? That's cool. Because
it's definitely after Rise of Iron. You have to finish it. You have to finish it before, but you don't have to order it until after.
Got it. Yeah, I've got mine completed, and I'm still on the fence. Like I want to buy it, but it's still a little pricey, and I don't know. Maybe I think if I did buy it, I would want to buy one of those cases that you put shirts in, so I can hang it up on the wall, because it wouldn't really be something I'd want to wear and then wash. Like I'd be afraid of like the name coming off, Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, so you can really see there they literally are the same. I don't know. That just really bugged me.
So you do have to complete your Moments of Triumph before September 20th, but the deadline to make the purchase for the shirt is October 4th.
Okay. Okay, so we have the... Thank you, Jez. So we have the screenshots up there. They do look very similar. Maybe they look similar so that they don't look so off-putting. Like, could you imagine, like, those cat boots with the rest of this Iron Banner gear? Like, maybe that's, they wanted them to work well together.
Yeah, I don't know. Great. I just think, with everything else that they've done, that they could make something really, stand out, different. But it is what it is. That was my one little complaint that I wanted to kind of go off on, because I said last week I was going to bring it up.
Unilala says she needs to finish the Shaq's quests of masochism and need 2 more Court of Oryx. That's funny. Let's see. All right. So what do you think there, guys? It looks... I already know it looks too similar for Sharks. What do you think, Agrios?
I don't know. I mean, I would love to see a more variety of gear available for Destiny's endgame. I've always felt like they waste so much good art assets on green and blue gear that no one ever sees or wears for more than like one day of their entire Destiny life. I would have loved to have seen, some of that stuff like, drag out, or like there is only one blue set and there is only one green set and they both look just terrible, and use all these other good sets just to make a bigger variety of legendary gear. I would have much rather seen like a setup like that. So when I see these 2 different sets named the same thing, to me, I mean, the only thing aside from it would be like, are you wasting memory on it? Because if you're wasting resources to make them listed differently, then that seems like a loss to me. But if you're not really wasting any resources to just have 2 different sets called 2 different things, I guess the only problem I could have with it is I would agree with Sharks in a degree that they're trying to promote it as though we have 4 different sets, when really they have 3 different sets and one of the sets has 2 different variations of it, would be a better way to describe that scenario. The fact that they have 2 different names and 2 different actual icons in existence, like, for me, logistically, as playing my character and in the game, no, that's not going to bug me at all. But did they waste resources to make them different? And should they be promoting it the way they're promoting it, would be the conflicts that I would have, if anything.
Lays Summerstone says, been looking at a lot of screenshots lately, and these all look more detailed than ever before. And I definitely agree with that. I feel like Destiny is moving in a direction where we're going to see much more detailed things. And I think that this goes back to not only age of development, but also, the next generation systems. Rise of Iron is not going to be on last gen at all. So they're able to put more detail into each of these. I mean, and this was not, they were not unwilling to change things as they were. Like, there was the scout looking Titan armor that came out with House of Wolves, and on the current generation there was like a little antenna coming off the backpack for the Titan, and on the last gen systems that antenna was gone. Or things like the
bug on the hunter armor moving.
The bug on the hunter armor moves on next gen, and it doesn't move on last gen. So I just think that there has been a progression in all of the armor. But yeah, you're right. It just looks way more detailed. And I feel like the way that Bungie has made Destiny is its fun is in the core of the game. Like I feel like they came out with a Dungeons and Dragons set that they can go back in and add new armor, add new guns, add new things, but they don't necessarily have to change the core of the game. You know, they just change it with the gear. It adds or subtracts to your abilities. So it's
I thought you were talking about like having a base model that they just add parts to make your current gear. That's why most Titan helmets have that weird looking skull on the back.
I mean, that's part of it too, right? Like that's something I noticed early on was all Titan helmets had that thing on the back. So yeah, so I mean that's another thing. There's that base level and they just add to it, and I think that we're about to see it get real. Like their restrictions are lifted. I'm excited.
I wonder if their restrictions on everyone having black gloves for hands are lifted.
I do not know.
I don't think you would. Not in the future.
Okay, so is that it? Are we done with the show? 98 in the bag. Yes. Nothing
Indeed.
Nothing else from you guys. Nothing else from chat. Then that's it. Let's do shout outs and let's roll on out of here early. We're absolutely early, and it's amazing. So glad you weren't paying for this. There's no encore. Okay, shout outs starting with you, Gray.
Shout out this week. He's in the chat, STF River. It's awesome that he stopped in to chat with us. But my shout out is actually because I pushed him and he stepped up to the plate and he set up a webcam and we did a dual webcam trial stream this past weekend, and it was a ton of fun. And I'm glad that he did that and we were able to enjoy that together. And with that, actually, we played with a buddy that we found through the Crucible Radio Slack, Dr. Carl, and he was an awesome guy. Can't wait to play with him again. He was really cool. So shout out to you guys.
Awesome. Sharks?
This week, my shout out goes to my dad. Unfortunately, he had a stroke, and just want to send him a big shout out.
That is unfortunate. That sucks real bad. I'm sorry to hear that, Sharks. Agrios.
This week, my shout out goes to Crimson Warlock. I enjoyed my time on the show with him. I'm sorry to see him go, and I wish him, the best luck in all his future endeavors. And, he's always welcome back in my book.
Agreed. Jez?
Shout out to Best Dad for inspiring Trials of Osiris gear.
Nice one. My shout out goes to Crimson Warlock as well. He was the third person who he's the third person who signed on to supporting my vision for Guardian 1 and really helping me make that something. Like we spent months talking about everything Destiny, what it could be and what it should be and what we wanted to do. We spent months talking about it, me and him and River, and I consider him a very good friend. I told him he's always welcome back on the show, or he's always welcome back in Guardian 1. Like, he's just been nothing but a positive role model and very patient and very, very kind. And so my shout out goes out to him. Definitely echo your assessment, Agrios. I wish him the best in all of his future endeavors. So that wraps up episode 98. I would like to thank everyone listening for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions or suggestions for topics to be discussed on the show, please leave them in the comments below or send them to feedback@guardian1.net, and we will see you next week.